Yep. There you go. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the April 23rd, 2025 Town Council Finance Committee budget hearing. Let us start with rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of
of
the
the
United
United States,
States of America,
Yeah.
to the
to the
republic
republic for which it
which
stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
God,
Under
indivisible,
indivisible, and
with
liberty and
liberty
justice
and
for
justice
all.
for all.
yes.
Thank you. Margaret, can you take the roll call, please?
Oh, I don't think Margaret's here, right?
Okay.
I, I, she told me she wasn't going to be here, and I realize now that
Yeah,
He's going to do it.
she's at the WPCA meeting, which started at 6, and she will come here if this meeting is still going on when that one's over.
Okay.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, that one just ended.
There you go. Look at that, like magic.
We just had to say her name 3 times. That's all.
Yep, I just made it here.
Okay. So do you need a minute or are you able to take the call, Margaret? The roll call.
Good question. We'll try to do it by memory right now. Tony Dorsey,
Here.
Tony Cinto,
Here.
Ann Sather,
Here.
Don Foreman,
Here.
Richard Wolf,
Here.
Kevin Shively, Mary Isaac,
Here.
and Nicole Satin.
Here.
Did I get everybody? Okay, thank you.
Good. Thank you. Okay, so I have an agenda in front of me that was sent out for the budget schedule. Though we first get started with the police budget. Chief Lombardo, are you present? No?
Yes,
Okay. Thank you. Welcome. Good to see you.
nice to see you.
I open the floor to you for any summary that you'd like to start with, and then we can start with questions.
Okay, well, I know most people have asked about our staffing levels. We currently have 75 people on the department, but 5 of them are in training. 3 of which just started about a 10-month process. And then we have about half a dozen people out on sick or injury leave. So we have a current list that we're working off of now that we're doing background investigations on to see if we can hire them and send them to the academy in June or July. So we're still struggling a bit, but we hope to make some progress in the next few months. We get a few people out of training and then put more into entry-level training and keep moving forward.
Are there any questions so far for Chief Lombardo? Yes, Nicole, go ahead.
Hey, Chief. I did hear that your social worker has left. Have you been able to backfill that position yet? What's the status of that position?
She has not left. She's stayed. She's still employed by us.
News.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yep. No, it's good news.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Rich Wolf?
Hey, Chief, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I had the pleasure of talking to some of your guys on Saturday night at the carnival before all hell broke loose, so they always do a great job there. What's just refresh my memory? So you got 75 on staff. That includes the 5 that are in training. The town needs what, 83, 84?
Okay, if you say so, but the maximum we're authorized right now is 82.
Oh, 82. Okay.
But I'll take 83 or 4.
I wish I can give that to you. What has since the pension's been back, how has the process been? Much easier, better retention? Just talk a little bit about that if you would. Thank you.
It's about the same. We've picked up a few extra people in some of the application process. I know Tom McCarthy and his manager, Steve Labrandy, have been a big help to us in getting the testing done rapidly and the interview process fairly rapidly as well. So we're able to move from one list to another. So the process is not as long, and it's been, we're able to move much more rapidly to hire people. So unfortunately, we're in that catch-up phase of trying to hire people at the same time. I think there was maybe 29 people that applied last time. And it's a little better. So we just keep moving forward with full-time recruitment efforts.
If I can, yeah, I think what you're seeing is you're seeing the pools and some of the quality of the candidates is getting better. We're not there yet, right? There still are some, there still are many reasons why, culturally and stuff throughout the world, why folks aren't applying to be police officers as much as they used to. But from our personal experience here in Trumbull, is that we think the pension is having an impact. It is drawing more people to the table. We're getting more people through the process, at least originally. We're not there. We're definitely not there yet. I mean, the days of getting hundreds of people to take a test are not there. But remember when I was doing the tests just 2 years ago, you had 3 or 4 people taking a test, and now you had 29, right? So we're definitely making progress. We're moving in the right direction.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. And thank you for all that you guys do.
Yep, they do all the work. The men and women in the field, I have to give them all the credit.
Chief, I have a quick question.
Sure.
As you're progressing with hiring, training, onboarding, the whole process, and comfortable and certified for the police officers, are there intentions to increase services like the school resource officer? Do we have a timeline, do you think? And obviously, I'm not going to hold you to the timeline.
So we have 2 school resource officers now.
Okay.
My goal is to put a 3rd one in the school system, but I'm very hesitant to say when that may happen, only because as we hire, we have also experienced some retirements that we expected as well.
Mhm.
So we pick up a few and lose some.
Mhm.
So right now we're playing catch up. I think it's great that we have 5 people in training, and but that process of getting them in the field, being able to work by themselves, is at least 10 months, 11 months, depending on what academy they go to and how they do in field training. So I would love to put that person there. I'd love to reestablish our traffic unit.
Mhm.
Love to reestablish the full-time police officer we had working at the mall.
Mhm.
And a lot of other outreach programs that the department and I are very much in favor of doing. But right now, we're just trying to minimize the amount of times people are ordered to work a double shift, and we have to cover the basic patrol function in the community. That's where our primary focus has to be, is providing that 24-hour coverage. And I have to tell you, we're still ordering people to work double shifts on much more than we really would like to. And I've got to get that to change as quickly as we can.
Just checking to see here. Want to make sure there was nobody here to ask any more questions. Does the Finance Committee have any other questions for the chief?
I have a few, Tony, if you don't mind.
Please.
Hey, Chief, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How many more officers do you have more than last year at this time that are actually on the road?
We have, correct me if I'm wrong, Assistant Chief, I think the last graft I saw were 60 eligible people to work. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess the short answer would be we're very close to where we were last year. with few new coming on board and the few that we've lost, we haven't gained anything considerably since that time.
Yeah, one of the reasons for that is because we have 5 or 6 people that are on some form of injury leave or just can't work right now. So a couple of people have come back, and we're hopeful that others can come back as soon as quickly, because that really hurts, as soon as possible.
Now, I was just asking about, because the overtime account, now did you use the whole from last year?
Let's see if I look at last year.
1.25?
Yeah,
That's
that's
this year.
the 1.25 is this year.
All right, so last year was, it's not even on here.
I have 1.3, is that right?
I don't even see it on this sheet.
Looking
Yeah,
at
Tony, you may need to go to the binder.
page
Oh.
186, I'm looking at.
Okay, hold on. I was looking at the spreadsheet.
It is 1.3, correct?
Okay. So right now, this year, you're gonna be at 1.25. That's what the Board of Finance decreased it by 50,000 based on historicals. Is that
Yep.
is that in the ballpark?
A year to date, I think we're probably a little bit over that. Is that right, Glenn?
We're on track to spend that 1.25 this
Yeah.
year, and I would continue for next year. We could probably hold to that, anticipating that we will be able to hire additional staff and we'll be in a better position, but that's being optimistic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just asking to see if you guys you guys are never ever going to be at full staff. There's always going to be somebody's out, somebody retired, so it's going to
Sure.
be impossible to ever be at 82.
Sure.
Is that safe to say?
Yeah, probably a fair statement.
Okay. And my last question is, have you seen, when you says the guys are working doubles, is that because of just more calls, or people called out sick, or are people, for whatever reason? Is it,
Yeah.
what was the increase of, like, if, Officer B was working, say 8 to 5, and you got to stay till 12? What would be
Recent-
again? Is that because of calls, like because of the apartments, or
No,
or
I would say
infrastructure, the mall, anything like that?
mostly because people are out with that injury or sick leave I mentioned. And on top of that, the shortages, those two combined. And then naturally, we have to do mandated training that's required by state law, and we have to still allow people their vacation time and other type of time off. So you add all that together, and that's why the patrol officers are getting ordered to doubles much more frequently than we would like. And it's just, it's not good.
And a last one, Chief, if you don't mind. How many? I'm trying to find it. How many vacancies you have? Let's see, 1, 2, 3,
We have
7. Is that still accurate?
We have 75. Yeah, we have 75 on payroll, and we're short 7. That's correct.
So, and the vacancies, is that like vacant, or is that like you hired somebody and they're at the academy, but they don't really count yet?
No, that's vacant. They're not hired.
Okay.
So the 75 that we have, 5 are at the academy and 5 or so are on that sick or injury leave I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Thanks.
Sure.
Thanks, Assistant Chief Burns. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Excellent. Just checking to see if there are any other questions. Doesn't appear.
I believe Mary has her hand up.
Yep, there it is. Mary.
Sorry, just a quickie. At the Board of Finance meeting, Chief, you had talked about the second tier accreditation.
Yes.
Do you know how long that will take to get to that? If you do, I know that you're obviously then trying to go for tier 3. And then also with that, will that decrease our liability insurance somewhat?
We hope to be a tier 2 accreditation by the end of this calendar year. Tier 3 would be right after that, and I think we have to have that by the end of 26, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Don? Lieutenant?
Yeah. Chief, yeah, we will be tier 2 and tier 3 accredited by the end of the year. Lieutenant Driscoll should have us ready for assessment, which is coming up in, I believe it's mid-October, and the state will be able to do their on-site visit in early December. So we will be tier 3 accredited at that time.
Fully, okay, good, thank you. As far as
Is-
the insurance portion of your question, that would be something I would have to defer to Maria for. Maria Pybus. I don't know how that works.
I don't know either. I would have to ask our broker how that would affect us. I can get back to the board at a later date.
I'm just curious. It might be something very minor. I have no idea. I just know, obviously, the more accredited, the higher you go up, there is a change, but
Yes.
anyway, thank you very much. And again, after the carnival, thank you to all your officers and every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, they did a great job. Very proud of the way they handled themselves.
Good. Well, Chief, Assistant Chief, Lieutenant, thank you all for attending. I think that closes that portion. Staying under public safety, emergency management and fire marshal. Megan, I see you here. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. This is the same process. If you wanted to give us a quick summary, and then we can open up for questions.
Hey, Tony, just have, if you don't mind, have Margaret tell us the page in the book, and what spreadsheet page we're on.
Sure.
Okay, emergency management is on page 8 of the spreadsheet,
Okay,
page 225 of the binder.
gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay. Everybody's good?
Yes, please.
Okay. So for emergency management, I'm pleased to say that we were able to keep the budget flat at a 0% increase. We were able to keep not only our budgetary items at 0%, but we also managed to keep our service contracts at 0%. So emergency management's doing great. The company's in the final stages of testing all of our equipment for the lightning detection system. So you're going to start to see that go up around town. So we should be full functioning by, summertime, definitely.
Good.
So yeah, we're doing great. No complaints from this end. You all were, very giving with us with the ARPA funding and things of that nature. So we decided to lay low on the budget this year. However, you'll see me in September for the capital plan for the command trailer is up on the 5-year capital plan in September. But otherwise, right now, we are status quo and we're hanging in there.
Thank you. Bertrolf?
Hi, Megan.
Hi.
So yeah, I was going to ask about the lightning detection system. So I'm glad it's going up this summer.
Mhm.
When we originally were talking about the ARPA funds for it, I think that they said it wasn't just for lightning, that there were a couple other alert systems that one of them we were talking about, active shooter, would definitely be useful. What are the other options that we have for that system?
So we have different signals that we can sound. One of them will automatically go off for lightning in the area, and then it'll start the countdown, and you'll be able to see coaches, referees, umpires, and such. Parents will be able to see how much time is left before games can resume. There is another signal that we can program should we have a situation where we need to clear the fields, whether that be for an intruder or an act of violence happening. And then there's a third signal that we can use that maybe we'll have to discuss and see if maybe we want to program for like a tornado warning or something of that nature.
Okay. And is this something that residents, is it like a push notification, or do you have to register your cell phones for this if you're a resident?
So you're not gonna get the alert town-wide. If you're in the area, you can scan the QR app and you'll be able to see the countdown clock on your phone. So it'll just be for the people there in that area, but there will be somewhat of a public education that we're going to do about it. And then there will be signage at all the fields so people can see and understand and know what the sound is should the siren go off.
Okay, interesting. Any other concern? I know we have all these apartments that have gone up any concerns with the apartments? I know that you guys have to spend times checking all the fire detection systems. Any concerns or any problems that you guys are facing with any of that with the apartments?
Not from an emergency management perspective. As far as fire marshal perspective goes, they did increase our workload, simply for the inspection rate. But again, between yourselves and the Board of Finance, you were very generous with me again, allowed me to add an additional full-time staff member for that. And I'm pleased to report that we are really keeping up on the violations, and on the inspections. For the most part, the apartments they're in good shape. It's also wonderful when they're brand new. But they seem to be being run with good management companies right now. If we do find a problem, they're very quick to fix it. We had an issue at one of them, the other last week with the fire alarm system, and they were there. They got the people out there, and within 24 hours, we had the situation resolved.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for everything you and your team do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Ann Sather?
Thanks. Thanks, Megan, for all the stuff. I have a quick question about the lightning detection thing. So, because where I vacation in the summer at the Jersey Shore, they have one, and it's quite the noise. So is in terms of like alert, what's the plan? Like in terms of like,
it's not going to go off at 2 o'clock in the morning.
No, I know. I'm sure that, of course. But like, is the plan how to educate the public, and how much of that do you have a plan of action for, like educating the coaches at the schools in the fall, like who might not necessarily live in town or get the notifications and things like that?
Right. So we will, obviously we'll be posting stuff on social media. We'll be posting stuff on the town website. Again, there will be signage up. People do have to take the time to read the signage, but so there will be, things like that out there. We will send information out to, AYSO coaches, Trumbull United, Trumbull Youth Lacrosse, rugby, all of our youth sports teams that we have, to let them know what the system is. We'll ask them to pass it on to their coaches. If they would like us to come to a coaches meeting that they have and explain the system to them, we're going to be happy to do that. Obviously, we'll be working very closely with Mike King at the high school. And I don't want to leave Trumbull Little League out. Trumbull Little League, of course. So I don't want to leave anybody out.
Right.
So we'll be working with all the coaches. We'll be doing a big outreach to try and get everybody, again, there's going to be a learning curve. But I think we'll be okay.
Okay. Thanks. It was there was a lot of notifications last year while we were living through it down on the shore. So
I'm sure.
It's a great, super glad that we have it. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Megan, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Was there anything on the fire marshal budget that I could answer for anybody?
I didn't have any. I reviewed it. I didn't have anything.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we'll move to recreation and parks. Margaret, where can that be found?
I believe we got an email saying that they were not available this evening.
Okay.
Maria has her hand up on that.
Yes, both Dimitri and George have a conflict today. They had a personal matter that they had to take care of. And but I spoke to Tony, and they will be coming tomorrow. I just sent them an email to come in tomorrow.
So on that point, tomorrow night is the public hearing. Will we have enough time before 7 o'clock?
Who's that question directed to?
I believe to Tony, because I think Tony Cinto actually answered the email.
Well, I think they have to come because they have a large budget and there's a lot of stuff on the parks. And
Correct, they have
a
to
lot of
come, but
questions.
I just wasn't sure if it would be better to come on Monday, the 28th.
When we vote as a full council.
Well, we have a couple of departments that will be presenting before you vote. But then it's a coordination problem because tomorrow night we have a public hearing at 7 o'clock. We have a couple of meetings, a couple of departments beforehand.
Mhm.
But then Monday night is also a couple of departments and then your vote and then our committee meeting for the May meeting.
What if we
So,
wait, what if we wait till after the public hearing?
okay,
What if only 5 people show up?
yeah, okay,
I mean,
good
would that
point.
be easier? What do you guys think? I mean, just my
Yeah.
opinion.
That might work.
Yeah, Tony, I think you can probably continue the budget hearing until the conclusion of the public hearing. If depending on how many people show up.
Right. I mean,
Okay.
if there's a hundred people show up, obviously, it's going to go long, but I don't know how many people are going to show up.
Right, and that's, I didn't really know how many people were
Yeah,
expecting.
we're
so-
never going to know that. So
Okay,
rather than wait till Monday and you try to get done talking to them, and then you're going to have to vote like 5 minutes later. It's going to be kind of
and
tough
then
to do
also
that.
have a committee meeting for, yeah, okay,
Right.
right. Okay,
We're kind of squeezing everything in a short period of time. I know that that's because of vacation and stuff the week before, but I understand.
okay,
So we'll invite them for tomorrow. If they have to go after the public hearing, that's fine. Or maybe we can move the schedule around where they go first. So we can make a judgment call for tomorrow.
very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, just asking Cindy, you can't switch the public hearing timing at this point, though, correct? Cindy's still on. Cindy, who knows all rules.
No, it's been noticed for that time.
So I think we'd
mean,
have to go after that.
I would say that if you're nearing the end of the budget discussion and the public hearing starts later than the published start time, that's fine. You can't do the public hearing earlier than the notice time, but if let's say you think you're going to be done in 10 minutes, you can just finish the budget hearing and start the public hearing late. I would explain to people what's going on, but again, it depends on how it shakes out and how many people from the public are there.
So if I heard you correctly, we can start the public hearing later, but not earlier.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. I was making a note. Okay, good. Thank you. In that case, we will move to general government. Margaret, where is that in the book? Starting with Bill with technology.
Technology is on page 3 on the spreadsheet and 91 of the binder.
Okay. Bill, I imagine you're still here.
I am still here. Good evening.
Good evening. Same process. Any summary you'd want to start off with?
Sure. See a couple of things that we've been working on. We're working on our computer upgrades from being funded this year, and we'll hopefully continue that. We need to continue that in this fiscal budget for the second half of those workstations. The goal there is to get all of our workstations up to Windows 11 by the middle of October, when Windows 10 becomes end of support, end of life. We've got a couple other items that are end of support, end of life coming up, and those are part of the goals for this year. But I'll talk about what we did last year. We upgraded our storage area network. We replaced all multi-factor authentication tokens for employees, made improvements to network security. One of the big things that we did was upgrade to CrowdStrike Falcon Complete, and we were able to leverage the state of Connecticut CEN pricing. So we got a great deal on that package, and it's been working really well for us. And we continue to upgrade and create various online forms and workflows through the VOC program to continue to digitize processes. Goals for this year, we're looking to migrate remote offices to fiber internet, and there's a whole new contract for our fiber buildings on the network. We got a really great deal, and we're going to save a good ton of money. Replacing those aging workstations that I mentioned earlier. Access points, wireless access points also need to be replaced. And I'll touch on that in a moment. We're looking to also change our patch management solution to a different product and continue doing some network security improvements. One item that was removed entirely from the budget by the Board of Finance was the wireless access points. I initially asked for $30,000 to replace approximately 60 devices across our network in all of our buildings. Those access points are end of life in July of 2026. So the date is July 21st, 2026. When we talked with the first selectman and the finance director, the initial thought was to cut half in this year's budget and then make an early purchase at the end of the fiscal year to complete that project by July 21st when those are end of support. I was a little concerned about the tight timeline on that procurement and shipping. Hopefully they're in stock, and potential price fluctuation increasing pricing is on that, and also work to actually install those access points before the 21st of July. We could probably make that happen, but then the Board of Finance cut all of it to zero and asked us to come for supplemental appropriations for next year. So I'm not sure what the council would like to do. If restoring the half would be helpful, but I'm sure I'll see you guys one way or another. Any questions?
I was just going to open that up. Any questions from the council for?
I have a few for Bill. If you guys, if somebody else wants to go first.
Just a quick one, Bill. Sorry, puppy eating me. I don't see that they cut that from the budget, and I thought that it was said that they would go back for a supplemental for the second half. And so they kept in what the first selectman had moved to. And if you couldn't get it done in that point, that they would obviously, and I know you're talking about people away on vacation time and the tight timing of it, but that they could get that. But I don't see that the Board of Finance removed that amount unless I'm missing something.
Okay. During the meeting, I thought that was removed, but I actually didn't look at the PDF.
I see a $40,750 reduction.
No, I'm saying on the Board of Finance, on the paperwork that the Board of Finance provided for their cuts, the only thing I saw was the 556603, which was the in service. It was $1,000 and it was eliminated because it wasn't used.
Is this
So maybe
581888?
Yes, it's the 581888 account in capital outlay.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Maria, I'm sorry, Maria's raising her hand. Can you add some context to that?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, the Board of Finance reduced any one-time capital purchases. One being the laptops was $25,500, and the half of the wireless access that the first selectman approved. So that totals the $40,750, and they suggested that it comes for a supplemental instead.
So that was for the full. So that was the first selectman's half, then the other half. So it was completely zeroed.
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I
That and the
misunderstood that.
laptops. That and the laptops.
Okay, I knew the Okay, got it.
Right, and
Okay.
the workstations were going to be purchased, but they're going to be leased.
Right. They were going to remove those as well, but because it was a lease, they couldn't remove them. And
Okay, I thought they were saying the supplemental on the second half, so it was on the full. Okay, got it. Thank you.
it's the full, it's just that only half is removed because that only half was approved. If that makes sense.
Yes, no, completely understand.
Okay.
And that's what I was thinking. Yes, I thought it was the second half. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary. And thank you, Maria. Tony, you said you had some questions?
Yeah. Hey, Bill. Let's start. You got 3 guys working for you, right, Bill?
Yes.
Are these guys each assigned a different location?
No, everybody works on everything basically. Certain guys tend to lean one way or another. Certain guys are more experienced in one area or another, but we back up each other all the time, and so that way, if somebody's out on vacation or out sick, that we have coverage and we have some knowledge of what's going on. So, for instance, Paul is really good at the EMS coverage and stuff like that, and he handles some of that public work stuff. Phil tends to work on the police department stuff more often. Pete likes to work on the back end. He's not not as much of a people person as Paul, and so everybody kind of leans and does what needs to happen to get coverage to make things, to take care of the work. But when someone's out, we have to shift and cover. So,
Okay. Second question is, if a user has a problem, how do they contact your department to get them to check it out? Like if you have a bad computer,
Yep.
say
So-
somebody's computer's not working or there's an AP not working, do they open up a ticket with you guys? Is there some kind of process you guys use to get that information?
we have
Generate the work?
they'll email us at support, and that'll open up a support ticket on their behalf. They can also call us on our desk line. A lot of times we'll walk by their desk and they'll say, "Hey, flag us down and give us some issues." But most people will email us and then call us from time to time.
Okay. Well, just for everybody, I'm going to get into the geeky part of the questions, if that's okay.
How about it, Tony?
All right. Bill, the APs, are those Cisco APs?
They are Meraki Cisco, yes, Cisco Meraki access points.
Those are cloud-based, correct?
Correct.
And their lifespan's what, 4 years, 5 years?
I think they say like 5 or 6 years is the lifespan of those devices.
Are you using the Meraki switches also?
We don't. We have HP switches.
Okay. Now, on the APs, are you using the dashboard for the Meraki part?
Yes.
On the network, it's a network all tied together by dark fiber.
So some of it is. So our main buildings are leased fiber. So we have like town hall, recreation, public work. Well, the public works complex, EMS, animal control. That's all on one line. The police department, senior center. Those are all buildings on our main fiber wide area network.
Is the police? I'm sorry, Bill. Go ahead.
Yes, the police is on our wide area network. Everything's between the police department, certainly segregated and security on the switch side, but we also have a host of other buildings. The Bearsley Pump Station, Fairchild Library. That Fairchild and Library are actually on our fiber WAN. The counseling center, remote sites like that. Tashawa Knolls Golf Course. Those are currently powered by Charter Business cable internet, and so we're going to try to upgrade those to Frontier Fiber to get them on fiber internet connection, bidirectional. And so that's part of our setup for our goals for next year. Those remote sites all VPN back to the main site, and so that's how everything's connected.
Now on the sewer pump stations, when those alarms go off, they're on a switch. They report back to where? Like the alarm goes off at that. It goes back to town halls, go to somebody's phone? Does it go to, an email?
Yeah, I guess the pump station has their own software with alarms, and that will generate a notification to Bill Maurer and his staff.
Okay, so it's just everything goes back with the alarming on that. And you said the station was segregated from the network by itself?
Sure. I mean, we have network policies and network controls to make sure that their data remains private. That's by law. And then there's other layers of security within the police department where certain computers are not allowed to touch the internet, and those are segregated as well.
Okay. I don't want to get too detailed because I can't, but that's good for now. There's a lot of the questions I like to ask if I can't. So
Well, you know where to find me, Tony, so give me a call.
no, it's we're on an open line.
Yeah. No.
You know what I
Give
mean?
me a call on my desk tomorrow or something. We'll chat.
All right. Thanks, Tony.
Tony, are there any more questions for Bill? Going once, going twice. Thank you, Bill.
All right, thank you.
Next, we will go to First Selectman's office. So Kathy and Cindy are presenting. Margaret, where can we find that?
Page 1 of the spreadsheet and page 19 of the binder.
Give Kathy and Cindy a second to pop up here.
No, Vicky likes to present as well.
Okay,
She's ready and
Okay.
waiting.
all right. Sorry, Vicky, I didn't see you there.
Okay.
Open up with a summary statement, if you will.
So good evening, everybody. Nice to see you. So if you're on page 21 of the binder, you'll see a list of all the successes and accomplishments and goals and objectives. I don't necessarily think I should sit here and read those off to you, but you certainly can have some nighttime reading if you'd like to check that out, or if you have looked at it and you have any questions, glad to share any information with any of you about that.
Do we
Had a
have
busy year, and I'm expecting to have a busy year next year as well. As you know, we have lots of things going on in town. I know that Rena was here last night and listed off all the things that are development that's going on, and there's a lot of infrastructure improvements, and obviously we know we've got the Hillcrest project coming up, so that is going to keep lots of people busy as well. And lots of things going on at the Trumbull High School Hillcrest campus coming up in the near future, as Ann knows very well. Yeah, so lots of good things happening for the town. So anybody got any questions about any of that?
I'll open up to just raise your hand if you have any questions.
I just have a couple. I mean, one question. It's a two-question. I want to go to the $11,000 raises that were decreased by
6,400 looks like.
Well, it's total, so it went from 11. We'll say 10. We'll say 10. We'll lower it down. So it went
Yeah, it
down
was
to
reduced
7.
by 3,200 each one of them by the Board of Finance.
So it's still a $7,000 raise.
Yep.
And the reasoning for that was,
well, you know,
I mean, that's a big raise.
No doubt. I'm not, you know, I asked for, I'm advocating on behalf of my employees, which is, you know, a part of my job. And I do have a spreadsheet I could share with everyone. Tom, is that Tom McCarthy? I'm going to go to you for 1 second.
Yep.
Do you have anything to add in at this point, Tom?
So if it's if it's a personnel discussion, you have to go into executive session. If it is generally about just the dollars,
It's about the dollar. It's just about the dollars.
Right, then we can talk about it here, but
Okay.
All right, hold on 1 second here. Let me just find where this is on my computer. Just bear with me for a second, please. Can everybody see that?
Yes, now
Yes,
we
yeah.
can.
You can't or you can, I'm sorry.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a history of my department since I took office in 2019. And it covers the entire period. And let's just focus on the CAO's office salaries. So you'll see going through from 2000 and, as I said, 2019. And you'll see the increases every year, or basically increases that all of the departments received. Through that time, there was no additional amounts that the CAOs received on top of just the regular general increases every year. Some were very small. And so the first real increase above the regular increase that everyone received basically was just this year. And what I wanted to do, and I had asked in the past for an increase a few years ago, but did not receive it. The CAOs do not have step increases as many of our departments do under the union contracts. So their increase just stays basically at what the general increase that is given every year through the contract. So they have never really had any other adjustment over the 7 years that we've been here, other than those increases. And I'm not complaining about any of that. But what I really was trying to do on their behalf is they actually make less per hour than my admin does. And so what this was really was an adjustment, a one-time adjustment for internal equity. Because there's no other department, and I believe Tom can back this up in the town, where the professionals in the office and my two assistants are definitely professionals. In fact, Cindy Katsky is an attorney. No other departments do the professionals in the office make less per hour than the admin does. So I was just trying to make an adjustment for that internal adjustment this year to bring them up so they would actually be making a whole $1 an hour more than the admin does. The admin works less hours, as you probably can see in your budget book, but the differential in the salary is actually, with my adjustment, is $1 more an hour than the admin makes. So that's why this adjustment looks big, because, as I said, they have received no increases other than the regular increase through the time they've been working here. So this was that one-time adjustment to make that difference.
Right. Vicky, if you don't mind, if you guys don't mind if I add that, yes, what you said earlier is what's been happening is that the union folk and the other positions move forward because of step increases and things like that. And so if you leave the people in the way they are with just the general wage, there's always going to become a time where they are deeply behind other people. And to have a well-functioning organization, you really shouldn't have people who supervise other people making less than the people they supervise. There are exceptions to that, but you have, when you have admin, and by the way, admins are great, and we're not saying anything negative about admins, but the level of expertise, the level of responsibility that is held by these positions is significantly high. In my office, we report up to through them, hiring, signing off on hiring documents, things like that. All that stuff reports up through these folks. So the level of responsibility is significantly high, and the salaries don't reflect that in any way, shape, or form. If you do a comparison to other towns, if you do a comparison to other like positions in the town, other department heads, every comparison you make, these positions are significantly behind, and yet they still have the high level of responsibility.
Well, Tom, I have a question. These are appointed positions, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry, was that to me, Tony?
They're appointed positions,
Yeah.
correct?
They are, yes.
So if a new selectman came in, they can make the salary anything they wanted, correct?
Well, they have budgetary restrictions.
Well, yeah, but I'm
Right,
saying it could be changed. There's nothing in the book that says that job has to get that salary if there's a different first selectman, correct?
Well, I mean, again, they'd have to stay within the bounds of whatever the budget is passed, but conceivably, yeah, it's an appointed position, so it's appointed non-civil service position, so it doesn't have the same restrictions that a civil service position would have in terms of creation and hiring and all that stuff.
Well, my concern is that, that the rest of the people work in town hall find out that person B was going to get a $7,000 raise. I think that just kind of, looks bad or sends a bad message. And if I remember correctly on these positions, weren't these supposed to be positions to equal one position at the beginning, or do I have that incorrect?
Well, way back when I, took over the first selectman's job, all we did was we took the money that was there and just reallocated it. We didn't increase, as Tom said, we worked within the budget we had. We just reallocated the monies into those two positions. And that's the way this office has carried forward these positions for the last 7 years. And again, this was just again, I'll just repeat, an internal equity adjustment because of the difference between the pay for our admin and our people professionals in the office. And the Board of Finance did reduce that amount, and I'm obviously happy to give these two great employees that raise as well. I'm fine with that. But it does not do what I was looking to do, because even with the raise that the Board of Finance approved, there's still a differential of monies funding between the admin and those two positions. Does not make them equal. Doesn't make them equal, and they're still behind. Actually, will still be behind the admin and hourly wage.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Vicky.
Thank you, Tony.
Mary?
Yeah, just to say that it is true. Going through the book, when I saw that same thing, I was like, that's a large chunk of an increase, obviously. But when you look at the rationale for it and listening at the Board of Finance meeting, it obviously made sense. And it's the same type thing that we did with the chief's administrative assistant, and also the first selectman's administrative assistant, knowing the responsibilities that they had, which were more so than, say, other, and again, I don't want to say regular admin, but the difference in the responsibilities, and with step levels, they weren't getting the adjustments that they did deserve at the time. They'd been losing out, per se. So that was, I think that was maybe 2 years ago when we did adjust that.
You can see it on the schedule here. It was back in 2022 where the admin in my office received almost a 10% increase because of that discrepancy.
And
So-
we did this, we did the same for the chief of police, and
Right.
that was the rationale then.
Right.
And again, I questioned it then as well, and then hearing the discussion about it, it obviously made it more sense at that point.
Thank you. Any other questions for the first selectman's office? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to explain.
Next we'll move to human resources. Margaret?
Page 2 of the spreadsheet
Mhm.
and page 103 of the binder.
Thank you. Tom, welcome back. Same process. Give a quick summary.
Yeah, we didn't, I mean, our budget is, we don't have the most robust budget in the universe. And there's not a lot of change. What you'd see is we kind of moved money around a little bit, Board of Finance cut a little bit, but nothing that I can't manage in the office. But you will see that we put a little increase into wellness. During during COVID, you know, that kind of stuff kind of fell by the wayside, to be very honest with you, just because people weren't able to be in the same place together. And then we've been playing a little bit of catch up with that for the last couple of years. Like this year, we reinstituted our walking program, yoga, things like that that have started to, you know, reach out to the wellness thing as a way to try to, you know, give like a stress release to our employees, but also if you have healthy employees are cheaper employees in the long run in terms of healthcare and a lot of other things in terms of time off. So it is, you know, for every dollar spent, you get maximum dollars back for wellness programs. So we asked for extra funds this year for that. And it was put in there and we appreciate that. And so our idea is to really start pushing that avenue this year. Other things you'll see highlights of, you know, that OSHA inspection that we had over a year ago. It has taught us some lessons. We have recognized that the level of expertise that's needed to deal with OSHA on a regular basis is just not here in the town. I mean, I don't have it, to be very honest with you. I wouldn't, you know, I'm not the most mechanically sound person in the world. And so some of that stuff is beyond us. So we have hired a consultant to get us through this process, the inspection process, but we're also transitioning into having a regular consultant that will be the one that does the training. So like a one-stop shop for, you know, bloodborne pathogen training, stuff like that. All the things you have to do under OSHA on a regular yearly basis. They will lead that. Steve Lebrandi in my office is the point person for that. And so we've addressed all those issues, and so OSHA, having a regular OSHA consultant that works through our office is going to be a huge help to us. But also when OSHA does, and they will come back for the reinspection, surprise plus one day, we'll be able to point to having all the documents in place and be able to point to the fact that we have been very aggressive in terms of making sure we have a safe a place for our employees to work. Hiring, in terms of hiring, we have we really, over the last year and a half to 2 years, have taken a look at how we've done hiring and recognized that it was a slow process here in town. And partially that was because there's a lot of stuff going on, but also it's that the systems were not efficient. So what we've done is we've upgraded in some of our, like NeoGov, you'll see one of the vendors. We are using it more efficiently. We're having our civil service meetings. We upgraded some of the folks in civil service, and we have a very good group on our Civil Service Commission now. And so we are getting quorums regularly. And that is a large part of the problem, because you can't start a hiring process, or you can't complete a hiring process for a civil service job without civil service meeting. So we now have made that efficient. We meet online. And so our hiring process itself is extremely fast. That doesn't mean it's not a challenging hiring environment, because it is with certain jobs. But the faster you get to it and the faster you get people through the process, the more likely the good candidates are going to be stolen by somebody else, right? And so we're pretty proud of the work we've done on that. Collective bargaining, we have moved through all of our contracts from last year with one exception. We have a new union, the EMS union. We are still in the process of creating their contract. So you got to understand that this was a group of employees that was not union and is now union. And so it's not a large, there's 7 of them. There's not a large number of them, but you have to create a contract from scratch, right? So that means going word for word through the entire process. And that's been laborious, but it's been a good process. We actually worked very well with the new union and the EMS folks and trying to get it right the first time. So we're very close to that being done. As a matter of fact, I think we're one more session and we might be getting into the edits phase of signing, getting that contract done. So other than that, we have 3 new contracts. I think I sent, hopefully Maria sent the documents to everybody for or our contracts that gives you a summary of where we are, what's open, what's closed. But what we have open right now is the EMS I talked about. We have police, which is about to start, and we have DPW, which we just closed, but we're open. It's now open again, and we actually have already we've already had one session for the new contract. that expires in July, as is the police contract expires July 1st as well. So we're working through all those, and I'm pretty confident that we will get through those rather effectively. So that's a very, very small nutshell of what we do here.
Excellent. Thank you, Tom. Opening up to the council, any questions?
I have a few for Tom.
Tony, go ahead.
Now, Tom, I'm gonna ask you some questions. I had sent an email out the last week on some questions. Were you able to see that?
Yep, I'm
Email?
prepared for whatever, any of those questions.
I know that. I'm gonna ask you some questions. If you can't answer them, just let me know.
Yeah, at least one of your questions, I'm going to say, I have no problem talking about it, but I'm going to say to you executive session. So just, I think you probably know which one I'm going to say.
Oh, I don't know. There's a couple of them. First one is, on the administrative leave, what is the definition of administrative leave?
Administrative leave is exactly what that means. What it says is, which is that I put somebody out on leave with pay. I mean, it is important to know it's currently, I know you're asking a general question, but in the current question you're asking, it would be with pay pending my investigation to make a determination about what action we would take. It's a general answer to a question I can say in public.
Okay, because I got a major problem with that. I mean, a super major problem.
Sure.
It's kind of ridiculous. Okay, I mean, it's ridiculous. I know you probably can't. That's all you can say about that, correct? I don't want to get too deep into it because I mean, I'm like ripping on this one.
If you want to go in an executive session, I will talk to you.
Well, I don't know if that's possible right now. I don't know if that's possible right now because it's probably not possible. So I'm just gonna maybe I'll call you tomorrow or something. But
yeah, you're welcome.
I cannot believe that we're in this situation and we're paying somebody, and it's insane.
So
okay? It just drives me nuts that we're in this situation. That's all. It's crazy.
If I can say generally, because I mean, I can't speak specifically unless you go to executive session, but generally, an employee has a property right to their job. And so I have to do an investigation with due process to take away their property right, meaning the pay they get. And so you don't take away the pay until I have completed an investigation. You can rest assured that this is a short investigation and that I'm at the back end of the investigation.
Okay.
I think I can generally say it to you. And I will also say, generally understand that there are certain positions that by charter in Trumbull are appointed by commissions, boards or commissions, and therefore they make the determination at the end of the day. So there have to be a commission meeting scheduled and for that to happen. That's a
Tony, I think we have an executive session set up here. If you would like to continue, we can do that.
I didn't know that, so that's why I didn't want to.
Yeah, I understand. I appreciate that. But if you would like to, we can just simply switch over and go into that executive session and continue the discussion.
That's okay, Vicky. If I mean, I just want generalizations. It's fine.
We hear you.
I don't want to go. I don't want to get too crazy with it.
Yeah.
So I just get more aggravated. So it's right at this point. Tom's answer on that one's fine for now.
Okay. I do think that, for everybody's sake, it would be good at some point to have to go into executive session and talk about it.
Why don't we wait until Tom's done doing his stuff, and then why don't we discuss it then? How's that? Is that fair enough?
That's fine.
Yeah, I am more than willing to tell you everything I know.
Well, wait till you're done with whatever you're doing on that. That way we could just talk about it once.
Yeah, that's fine.
We can't change what happened. We just find out where we're at. How's that?
Yeah.
Right. And maybe the question or suggestion is, do we want to wait for the full town council budget meeting so we all hear at one time? That's just a thought.
That's probably a good idea.
Perfectly fine by me. I
Okay.
have no problem talking about this one in executive session, obviously.
That's fair enough. All right, that's fair. I don't want to go get everybody crazy, so.
Yeah.
The other one was on the Mary Sherlock Center. Now, you can answer this question. Is that person still work for the town?
I'm not sure.
That
Okay,
that
so-
actually, you want to talk about, that's actually on the agenda for tomorrow night. Do you want to talk about that now?
What, the person with the money missing?
No, well, Mary Sherlock Counseling Center is on for discussion on tomorrow night's agenda.
Well, I thought I'd ask Tom because he's the personnel guy. Or is he gonna be there
Well,
tomorrow too?
he's going to be there tomorrow
can
too,
be there
but whatever you
tomorrow.
want to do.
Okay, we can wait till tomorrow on that then. That's fine.
But
Totally up to you.
If
That's
I can,
fine.
by the way, I am more than willing to discuss it tonight, but I know this is going to shock everybody when I say this. You'll have to go into executive session if you want any details on that.
Well, I wanted to know if the person was still working for the town. I didn't really, that's what I wanted to know. That's why I sent the email out in advance. And, so you can't say that. That's gotta be executive session too? That's fine if it is. We can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, but
Okay.
I think I can say to you that there were personnel changes very quickly in that department.
Okay, well, I got more questions about that. We can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
But
And the
again, you're gonna
last-
have to executive session if you want me to. And again, I'm more than willing to talk to you about anything but that.
Okay, and
But,
then the last,
you know,
the last
executive
one
session.
the last one's probably executive session too, because I want to know, does the person who dropped the bag of money still work for the town?
If you.
Is that waited till tomorrow too?
Yeah, if you wanted
Okay.
to, if you're gonna
Okay.
go to executive session, we should go to executive session on
Yeah,
any.
because I think that we,
Personnel
as
matters,
a
I-
body, yeah,
yeah.
we need, as a body, need to know those three things, because those were just one-offs and they're just crazy. And what, you know, the administrative leave thing, drove me, it was just something I was like, I couldn't believe it. So that, we can wait till tomorrow, Tom, just wait till tomorrow for that. That's fair.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Thanks. No, that's fine.
Tom, the only question I have for you, I didn't see anyone else, so I wanted to jump in. The only question I had, and maybe this is sort of an offline discussion, happy to have it. You know, we've had two instances over the past, or three instances over the past, 2 years or so. My timing might be off. I just want to understand the background check process and were there any lessons learned? Was there an audit of that process? And were there any lessons learned about how to ensure that we don't see any future instances like this?
I'm not sure what two issues you're talking about. I would say this is a general statement.
Mhm.
We do very thorough background checks on everybody. And
Okay.
for higher level positions, we not only check references, we call previous workplaces, things like that. And you should rest assured that anybody that was hired recently, that was a very high level, that happened.
Okay.
And you should probably think about that. Again, I'm trying my darndest to give you guys some info before the executive session, but I'm willing to tell you everything in executive session, but I will say this, that you should probably make an assumption that if I heard something when I was talking to somebody, anything at all, I might have made different decisions.
Okay.
Yep.
We can wait till tomorrow.
Yep.
And go ahead. Thank you, Tom. And go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, Tom. So mine is so much more innocuous. With the trainings, the online trainings and such that, so when you say that making those things available in a portal, and obviously that's for like different departments, I'm assuming you organize like the bloodborne pathogens for.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, the
I
online
was trying to
portal.
figure out
Like,
where
I
you're
know
going. Okay, yeah.
the state required trainings that everybody has to do
Mhm.
or whatever. And I know this because I sit through like 5 or 6 hours of them at the beginning of every school year. So that the state makes everyone take. So in terms of that, like, is there like, is your department? I know the Board of Ed has its own, but like for things like that, is that a way we can combine having one portal for like the educators and then also having a portal? Like, does that make sense? I don't know.
So
but-
So bloodborne pathogens is a great place to talk about this topic. That it is, which is gross, I know, but here we are. It makes you Con OSHA makes you tailor it to the exact job types
Okay.
that people are involved in. So the problem is that there are probably one or two things that we could probably do together, but the vast
Yeah.
majority we have to tailor to the different types of jobs. And there isn't, I mean, the world of difference between what a teacher is doing and
Mhm.
what, someone in public works is doing, it kind of, when you get down to the devil in the details, it's not efficient to do it that way. So that's why we have the consultants that come in, and they very quickly can maneuver from a public works person to a parks person to EMS person to, that kind of stuff, and move very
Okay.
quickly through it.
Got it. There's a lot of trainings.
Oh, yes.
And they're very long, some of them.
Oh, yes, there is.
Thanks.
Any more, Mary, go ahead.
Yeah, just quickly, and I may have missed this. One of the dogs got sick, and of course Marty's running in like life is over, and so I couldn't really hear. But anyway, so when you're talking about the wellness trainings and options, so I heard you reference that, and that's when what is that exactly? What is done? Is it to offer employees? Are there facilities that we go to that there are like silver sneakers for seniors, but that the town gets as an option, or is it just trying to push wellness? Is it through the health department, or what is that? Again, I may have missed that. I know there's always the first selectman walk, like coming around in the spring and things like that. But I'm assuming it's an effort throughout the year to get people healthier. I said I just missed that like 30-second recap.
Yeah, so that's what it is. But in the past, because we haven't had a budget to do anything, we have done the cheapy version. So trying to do things with, beg, borrow, and stealing a little from different places, like our employee assistance program would offer up a training of some kind. And, we were able to get, we had some gift cards that were still here from a previous wellness purchase that I've been using to incentivize folks to go, do walking during lunch hour. Do you know what I mean? That like we have a walking group, which actually became very robust. We've been doing it the cheapy way, right? We're still going to do the cheapy way, but now we have a little seed money to try to bring in, like the yoga was very popular. It was very popular. Meditation has been requested from us. And these things, they're not overly expensive, but to get someone to come in and do that for an hour during lunch, you got to pay them. And I had $0 for that, right? So that's the kind of thing we're looking to try to invest in some of that stuff. We also are looking into, with our health plan, the other things like the silver sneakers, but the discounts to the gyms and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we are now building up our process. Louisa in my office is our HR generalist. She is excellent. She's very good at this stuff. This is her gig, and she is working on it currently to try to build out a program. Hopefully you guys will leave the dollars in there. And if you do, then I'll be able to put a plan together that is more robust than what we have now.
Thank you.
If you heard me say, the reality of the world is, healthy employees are better employees, but healthy employees are also cheaper employees. It is, every study in the world has shown that. And so you invest $1, you're going to get that $1 back multiples. So
that's the part I heard. I'd missed like the
Yep.
beginning, and that's why I wasn't sure what we were doing. Back in the day when I worked for Playtex, and they invested in a gym for the employees just so that they would go down during lunch and have salads. And of course I had my chocolate chip cookie and, and then would go on the treadmill, but anyway, actually, Tom, tell everybody to go out and go through Stefan's new walk with the book and the library, and they can do pages of the book and they can run through it and see how quickly they can get around. But thank you.
And if you guys want to pay for a gym, I'm more than willing to put that together for you.
Board of Finance.
Good. Don't think we have any more questions, Tom. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks.
And I think the final one I have on my agenda here is Trumbull Day.
My overview?
Yes.
There's no money in Trumbull Day this year. There was no money last year, and you can't put any in, so what would you like to know?
I think we answered our own questions. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, well, that was the easiest update that we've had on this agenda. I don't see anything else on the agenda for today. So with that said, I will close the hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing.
So second,
Second.
can we approve by unanimous consent?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. We will see you all in town council chambers tomorrow.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night.